All right, everybody, let's get started. The City of Cotulla City Council will meet for a regular meeting on Thursday, January 13th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at Alexander Convention Center, Conference Room 290, North IH-35 Access Road, Cotulla, Texas. This is an open meeting subject to open meeting laws of the state of Texas. Roll call. I believe we have Mr. Juan Garcia. He is ill. He is in the hospital. I would like a first motion to excuse Mr. Garcia. First motion by Mr. Rodriguez. I need a second. Second by Mr. Reynaldo Garcia. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Will everybody please join me on the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Citizens to be heard. City Council cannot discuss any present issue, nor may any action be taken on any given issue at this time. Ms. City Secretary, is there any citizens to be heard?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. No citizens to be heard. Moving on to item number 5, Decremental and Committee Reports.
At the very top, you have the water report. David and Jimmy are in Gardendale working on the transducer because they're having water issues with the monitoring of the well. But the written report is fairly clear on what we're doing. And I think the most impressive thing that we've done this past 2 weeks is, if you've not seen it, look at the skyline of Cotulla and you will realize there's a new addition, and you can see the water tower that has just been erected. It's not in its final phase, but it needs to be painted and have the logo, and we need to x-ray all the wells and make sure that everything is sound. But it's definitely going to be an outstanding feature of the city, and you're going to be able to see it from just about anywhere in town. And we need to make sure that we put a beacon light at the very top, because we don't want any airplanes running into it. But otherwise, the department is doing well, and we do have 4 or 5 cases that are positive, and those workers are on the new CDC protocols, so they'll be back to work on Monday. When we first noticed that they were had symptoms, we sent them to get tested. They tested positive, but apparently it's that Omicron variant that's out there. And I know the priest at our church this Sunday tried to tell a little joke about Omicron, and she said the grandmother told her little babies not to go on because le iba a pegar el maricón. Y le dijo, no, abuelita, no es maricón, es Omicron.
Omicron.
Anyway.
Anyways, I think also what's going to look good is the Cotulla Cowboy and Cowgirl logo on that water tower.
They'll be very prominent.
And I think everybody in Cotulla would be very proud of what we've done with that.
But what it does show is that the city, in spite of the pandemic and all the things that have occurred, has continued to do infrastructure work, and is moving toward the future, unlike some of the cities around us who are kind of waffling in what they do. But we are moving forward. We expect the sewer line coming from the airport. We've had to redirect and redo our trajectory as far as the alignment. We ended up having to buy property in order to construct the sewer line, We are gonna be out on bids by March to get that done, and we will move forward with that particular area. And we've still continued to do design work on the sewer plant and the drying beds, and we got approval by the Texas Water Development Board of using the remaining funds. I think we had about $400,000 from the remaining funds of the loan that we did when we did the new water well, and we're going to use that money to do the generators. And so we're in the design of the generators. The electrical engineer already came in, surveyed, and did everything, so we're moving forward. And we've already rented the generators for standby for the next 2 months, and we believe that we will be able to survive the winter without any problems, and next winter we'll be ready with the new equipment that we have.
Councilman, any questions? I think that's very promising news. Our city has never stopped working. We've always been moving forward with progress in our city. And I think we've done a great job overall together, along with our staff. Next department, how about gas department?
Good evening, everyone. In December, Cotulla Gas Department has now 495 active meters. Last month we did 67 811 locates around the city. During the month of December, we had 2 grade 1 leaks. The first one was on the corner of Baker and Mesquite. 3/4 inch line was damaged and quickly replaced along with the cutoff valve. The second leak that we had was 503 Gulf Street, another grade 1 leak. 3/4 service line had several pinholes in the line, so we decided to replace that line. I believe we replaced about 6 feet of that steel line. We also have a pending leak, which is a grade 3, and it's located on I-35 and Oxford Street, which is in Gardendale, and that's on a 4-inch steel main line. And other than that, that's pretty much it for the gas department.
Councilman, any questions? Mr. Gerardo, thank you very much for that report.
Thank you.
Code compliance. Thank you for coming in, Mr. Garcia.
Good evening. Over the past month and a half or so, I've been creating a way to make sure I can document who I speak to on a daily basis, any call-ins either by phone or in person. With that being said, I had 8 call-ins from citizens regarding issues of anything ranging from vehicles on property, concerns with furniture on some of the properties like in Madison Point, issues with dogs, issues with running water from swimming pools. So I take each one and I document each call and each citizen's concern, and I follow up with them and see if I can find a solution or is there anything we can do. With that being said, then I moved on to citations. I issued 1 citation recently. That was for restricted burning. Unfortunately, that resulted in a storage shed catching fire from a neighbor next door. The sheriff's office and fire department were called to that location on South Front Street. I had 2 follow-up contacts regarding similar issues regarding restricted burning. I decided to give them a warning for that. Some of them have just started that. One was a little bit higher than that, than just having just started, but I decided to give them the warning. So 2 contact warnings regarding the burning. We have 1 demolition that a lady paid the fees for, and I'm getting with Mr. Thomas regarding that demolition that came in just in the beginning of December.
And you're still working on that list that we had? On the demolition list that we had?
Yes. Some
We've
of those
done
were
most of the list.
some of those were carryovers from the last code enforcement officer. This is a new demolition.
Excellent.
I mailed a couple of warning letters regarding brush and piling up on a residence off of Tilden Street, and another warning letters regarding a property on Mendes Street. What I ended up doing for this period of time was auditing all the cases, all the property files that were in the office from 2020 to 2021. And that was so that I could create a spreadsheet to understand what I was working with and what I had. So given that, I created the spreadsheet documenting the history of each of those files and found that there were 69 files for the 2020 year date. And 9 of those properties, of those 69, need follow-up. And then 64 properties files were for 2021. And of those 64, I need to follow up with 30. And then, of course, I've been making some rounds along the streets, and of course, there's along the easements, they're positioning signs along the easements, and I picked up some signs. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
And when you mention signs, political signs, right?
I
Yes.
have instructed Mr. Garcia to remove any political signs that are on the right-of-way. And the right-of-way is not necessarily identified by the curb, because the city has a right-of-way in some areas that is 120 feet. So you may think that you're putting political signs on private property, but you're not. You're doing them on the right-of-way. And I've asked them to pull them from the street and to take them to City Hall. And so if there are candidates out there that are missing signs, they can go claim them at City Hall if we took them up.
I have returned some signs just recently, yesterday, to one of the candidates, notified him of the signs. But that's all I have.
Councilman, any questions for Mr. Garcia?
No, I just want to give thanks to that house that they cleaned on that four-way stop. I believe it's in Leona, where it used to belong to the Dubs. They cleaned it out. It looks good.
We ended up doing that.
It looks good.
And we're going to take further action on it. We have not had a response, and we've tried all sorts of addresses.
Yeah.
So we're going to add it to a new list that we're doing of 10 homes that we're going to clean or demolish.
Okay.
But
Mr. Garcia, thank you very much for that
It does look a
report.
lot better.
Streets and parks.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, Mr. Duvalina. You have my report in your packet, but I'll just highlight some of the stuff here. There, I had some of the items. The City of Cotulla personnel utilized the Bobcat trailer to remove grass from curbs on 2nd, Gerard, First, Carrizo, Noraces, Magnolia, Travis, Center, and Frio Streets. We utilized the Bobcat on that, and also the backhoe and the dump truck. We also assisted Karina and the Cotulla Main Street with removing the Christmas decorations from the City Park and the Plaza Florita. We also utilized a sweeper to remove debris from city curbs, and we also conducted an asphalt street reclamation project on Neal and J Streets, where the water department repaired a water leak, and we went and patched it up. Any questions?
Councilman, any questions for Mr. Thomas?
We have been very busy taking care of the Christmas decorations, and we have spent a lot of money acquiring inventory for the future. We bought new decorations this year to increase the amount of decorations that we have, and we felt that we needed to put them in a safe and sanitary area, so we are in the process of cleaning, with the help of the street department, some of the red barns and some of the warehouse area in back of the Main Street office, so that we can accommodate them when we have shelves, and we're separating the inventory so that we can have an easier way next year when we put them up to be able to reach them and to test everything before we put it up. And so we're doing a lot of preparation work. We're going to paint the floors and probably repaint the red barns with another color that has to be receptive to the Texas Historical Commission, because the barns are considered to be historical.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, anything more than 50 years is historical. So I guess I'm historical.
Mr. Thomas, thank you very much for that report. Sanitation, Mr. Martinez, welcome.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Mr. Dovalina. Hope you had a blessed and holidays, New Year's and Christmas. In your package, you'll see my monthly report for the month of December, and I also attached an annual report. On my annual report, that's the accumulation of everything that has been done in the past year as far as sanitation department. And briefly, just some key points. 365 roll-up trips were made by the city of Cotulla. That's including to the Laredo and to the metal facility. We had 3,545.43 tons of trash picked up in the year 2021, which is the equivalent of 7,090,860 pounds of trash. I did the figures from last year, the year before, in 2020. We picked up more trash this past year, 576,800 pounds more than the year before, which is the equivalent of 288.40 tons more. So it was obviously, this was more trash pickup this past year. We had some cleanups. Those are your totals on the cleanups. There were 13 containers picked up during a couple of cleanups we had this past year, which was the equivalent of 122,300 pounds of trash that was collected when we had the cleanup at the Plaza Florita, and we had 72,020 pounds of metal collected during the cleanups also. If you have any other questions or suggestions or comments.
Councilman, any other questions for Mr. Martinez on his report? No, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Would anybody be doing animal control?
No, he didn't show up this.
Okay.
His girlfriend is positive for
COVID. Main Street, Ms. Karina.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Dovalina. I know that Mr. Thomas with the Street Department and Mr. Dovalina have highlighted a couple things that Main Street have been doing, but I'll go ahead and highlight them just because I kind of go through and memorize my whole report. So Main Street has been really busy with the help of Street Department, taking down the decorations of both Plaza Florita and Main Street and Veterans Park. We couldn't have done it without the Street Department, as well as 2 Street Department employees have been under my supervision, given the taskings of organizing and getting inventory of both the Main Street barn on Front Street as well as the warehouses on Highway 97, which are a part of the Historical Commission. And we've gone through and we've cleaned. The water department also went through and power washed the floors so we can go ahead and get started on painting them. I'm working on getting in contact with the Texas Historical Commission to see what colors that we can choose and what if it'll affect the color scheme for the historic master plan. That's kind of what's been going on with Main Street, as well as the advisory board is still active. I will be sending out letters to all the active members that I have records for to start reconvening in February. Is there any questions for that? I'd like y'all to know that the City Hall ribbon cutting, which is super, super exciting, we do have a date of February 11th. It's a Friday at 3 p.m. I will be following up with an email to each city council member. Our main speaker will be Congressman Tony Gonzalez, as our city hall was built with a USDA grant, so we felt that it was fitting that he be a part of our program, and we're actually very grateful that he will be here. Executive Director for the Texas Historical Commission, Mark Wolf, was also invited, and he will be sent a letter of invitation. Hopefully he can make it, as well as the Acting State Director, Daniel Torres, for USDA. Any questions?
Councilman, any questions for Ms. Carina? No, thank you very much for the report. And last, City Administrator.
All right.
Would you like to say anything, sir? Of what's
No,
coming up, or
I think they
Ortiz
all-
Street?
Well, we had a pre-construction on Ortiz Street. We are in the process of, we had originally spec'd it out as all concrete. It came in over budget, so we're trying to lower the cost to the city other than the grant money. And so we're talking about doing a combination asphalt with the main Ortiz Street being concrete. And we have to make an amendment to it, and it has to be approved by the Department of Agriculture that gave us a grant. And we're in the process of revising that grant so that we can get going. You previously approved the budget that was bid by Sal Construction, and they're just waiting for the amendments to that particular contract. We do have an amendment to the engineering contract extending time but not extending money on both the construction side and on the engineering side. Once that gets approved, we should do that in about 3 or 4 months, and you'll see the improvement in the particular area. We did have a session. We have a session today, tomorrow, I believe, on wastewater, basic wastewater. In order to save the city money, we hosted the training session, and we had 4 individuals from the water department attend so that they can start getting the basic training to be able to get their D license. And obviously it means a race when they get a license. And so 4 individuals attended that, along with people from Uvalde, Poteet, Lytle, Divine, and some other area. And we teamed up with TEEX to be able to do that course. I already talked about the water tower. You're in the process of doing that. We are working on the generation system design, and that should be forthcoming probably by March. We're working on the wastewater treatment plant. We did bores in order to find out the type of soil that is on the drying beds that we're going to construct, to make sure that they don't subside, and that we are able to get the engineering in for the different lifts of dirt that need to be added to the soil in order to stabilize it. And we're anxiously waiting for the cooperation or joint project that we're doing with the county. I think the judge mentioned in an email that there's some $5 million that are involved in the process of repaving some of the streets. Jorge identified the streets that were going to be done, and we've gone in and done preliminary work with our local crews, and we've replaced water and sewer lines on the side related to Baker and Stadium and that area in there. We're now in the process of working on Saltillo and Hidalgo Street. We're changing some of the valves and water lines. Everywhere that we find spaghetti lines, we're replacing them with some other type of line that is cleaner. We did also replace an asbestos line, water line that was on Hall Street, and we had a new line, and the old contractor apparently had not abandoned the line, so we ended up going to the new line and redrawing or redoing the laterals to the different homes. So as we move forward in doing the projects, we're making sure that all of the utility infrastructure is also in good shape, so that we can continue to improve the whole city.
You have an update, sir, on time clocks?
Yes, we have every department on time clocks, and they started this this future pay period coming forward.
Was that by thumbprint or badge? Okay.
We will have a ribbon cutting for the water tower once it's finished and completed. We're doing the ribbon cutting of the City Hall. We have an update on the work that is being done at Stockman's Bank Building. We will also have a dedication of the marker at Plaza Florita and Wellhausen to show the fact that it's now a National Historic Landmark for that location, with the intent of creating a historical square in that area. And we're in negotiations for additional acquisition of some property in the area that will also enhance what we're trying to do in the local area. And so everything that we're doing is moving forward, and we're trying to keep the city moving in a positive direction so that we will have a better quality of life for the community in general. We will have more cleanups, more different things that we're trying to do on code enforcement in order to be tidier and a little bit cleaner.
Excellent. Councilman, any other questions for our city administrator? Not moving on to item number 6, approval of minutes December 9, 2021. Ms. City Secretary, any changes on the minutes? Councilman, did you get a chance to review all the minutes? If you did, I need a first motion to approve item number 6.
First motion.
Motion.
First motion by Mr. Cotulla, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, discussion and possible action on a resolution of the City Council of Cotulla, Texas, designating Assistant Main Street Coordinator Karina M. Sauceda, City Administrator Larry Dovalina, and Mayor Javier Garcia and removing Main Street Manager Patsy Lee and Mayor Joe R. Lozano as authorized signator on the Cotulla Main Street Program account held with Stockman's National Bank, authorizing designated municipal official to execute all required banking documents to exercise the authority granted herein, declaring a public purpose, incorporating recitals, providing a repeller, and setting an effective date.
This is a checking account that is set up at Stockman's Bank. When we formed Main Street, one of the things that we did was that in order for it to solicit donations from businesses for the activities that it has, is they had to do a 501c3 through the Internal Revenue Service, showing the bylaws and the things that they require in order for you to qualify as a 501c3. And in order for the funds to be tax deductible to the businesses that give you the money for the things that you're going to do, you have to have that in place. And it's an account that's been in place for years and years. We want to change the signatures, or one particular signature and the mayor's signature, so that we can go ahead and operate the account in the proper purpose.
Councilman, any questions on item number 7? If not, I seek a first motion to approve item number 7. First motion by Mr. Rodriguez. I need a second. Second by Mr. Zertuche. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Mayor, on item number 8, can we move that to the end of the agenda? I want to talk to y'all about that in a closed session briefly before you take action on it.
Okay. Do I need a
No.
first motion to?
No, you can do it. Just
Moving on to item number 9, presentation of financial statements by Jorge Flores.
Mayor, council members, good evening.
How you doing, Mr. Flores?
I'm good.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. The first report is the sales tax report. For the month of January, the city received $147,416. So for the first 4 months of the year, the city has received $545,579. Next page is the hotel motel tax collection report. For the month of December, the city received an additional $34,796. So the city received $253,388 for the first quarter of the fiscal year 21-22. Next page is the statement of revenues and expenditures. On page number 1 is general fund revenues, $1,006,646. On page number 4, total expenses of $905,803 for net income of $100,842. The water fund on page number 5, revenues, $430,030. Next page, total expenses of $389,911 for net income of $40,219. Page number 7 is the gas fund. Total revenue $92,856, expenses of $100,913 for net loss of $8,056. And on page number 9, solid waste fund, $193,998 in revenues, $215,651 in expenses for net loss of $21,653. December was a heavy month for expenses. especially payroll expenses. Since the city pays bi-weekly, there are 2 months out of the year that there are 3 payrolls, and December was one of those months. Are there any questions?
Councilman, any questions for Mr. Flores on his report? If not, Mr. Flores, thank you very much for that report.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to say that we're discussing changing software. The current software that we have, we are not getting any assistance from the company that manufactures the software. So Jorge has suggested one, and we had already looked into 2 others, and we're gonna review them or whatever. And when there's a recommendation to make a decision to go to the software, we're gonna come back and make the recommendation to you and tell you why we're thinking of doing whatever. The basic driving force in the software is obviously the way we collect the most money, and that's through utility bills. And we need to make sure that it is a good system and that we can get help from the creator of the software and from the individuals that work for them, because if not, we'll run into problems and it'll affect our income immensely.
Excellent.
And I'll be very involved in that process, but I want input from staff because financial softwares, they basically all work the same. So I want them looking at the utility software, the code enforcement software, so that they're comfortable with the software, because financial software is, I'll learn whatever staff decides, whatever company staff decides to go with.
Excellent. Councilman, any questions for Mr. Flores? Mr. Flores, thank you very much for that report, sir. Thank you. Moving on to item number 10. Discussion and possible action on a terminal lease with the entity designated by E.T. Page at the Cotulla Lasalle County Airport. Mr. Page, if you want to say or show something.
I would like to say something in general about the terminal. We received a shadow box from Senator Zaffarini's office today. It's a state flag that flew over the Capitol on the same day as the grand opening. It was really nice to have her there. She said a lot of nice words about our community and the way we work together. They've been persisting for so long. I really want to say thank you to the city that really gave a Herculean effort to clean things up along the airport road and in the parking area. They worked real hard for at least 2 weeks, and it turned out well. We had over 70 people in attendance from all over the state, even out of state.
Also fencing, I think some fencing was done also, so.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a very beautiful day. Couldn't ask for a better day. High numbers in attendance, excellent, yes. This item, we've been working on it for quite a while, quite some time. I don't know, what was it, about 2 years now on this, if not longer?
It's about 2 years, and we've reached a price that we're comfortable with. I think the lease calls for the utility bills to be paid by the leasee, and I think in the contract he leases most of the facility with the exception of the general gathering areas like the conference room and the lobby of the terminal. But Mr. Page can explain what he wishes to do.
Mr. Page?
You're right. We've been working on it a long time. It's been back and forth between your attorney and mine, and we're comfortable with the way it is now. It's what I think is very favorable towards the city as well, and I'm satisfied too. So it works for everybody. just in case you're curious, I'm paying a whole lot more than other similar airports in South Texas for this privilege. But I'm so grateful to have this new terminal out there. I appreciate it very much. So if you've got any questions about anything on it, I'll be glad to answer your questions.
What is the term of the lease? Is it a 5-year lease?
It's a
Well,
20-year.
Mr. Page has asked for a 20-year, but it's up to council.
And I did have other question. What is it the entity? Is it Page Aviation?
No.
It'll be Cotulla Jet Center, Inc., which is my company.
Right, I've seen that name before.
You weren't at the opening.
You know, I think I saw it at the country store. I didn't even know about it. I'm like, I'm going out deer hunting and said, oh yeah, we're having an opening today. Okay, 20-year. Yeah. So the lessee will pay the utility expenses.
With the exception of water and sewer.
And that first lease was for 40 years? correct?
That's the business lease for
The previous lease was for 40
That's
years?
for the hangar.
Yes, sir.
No, the hangar lease was for 25.
25, yeah.
And 15.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have I reference a plat in here. I'm not sure we even have one.
We don't
Just
have
to show.
we don't have a plat.
We can attach anything. Just
Yeah,
highlight it.
we're just gonna highlight the floor plan.
And what's the lease amount?
1,800.
Steve,
Yes, sir.
this is the floor plan of the building, and it's highlighted where the 3 rooms are that are being leased.
Okay.
And the 3 rooms are identified in the lease.
And so it's a yearly rental. And what was the rental amount
1,800.
for the whole year?
Yes. For the 3 rooms.
All right, let me fill in the blanks here, and then I'll shoot it off to Keith. But if they can approve the
term?
term, the price, and then I think, and now I know the entity.
I thought this came from your office.
It did, but we left it all blank because I don't think we ever. I sent a draft, but the price per year, none of that was filled in. It was all.
It's filled in, and I didn't put it in it. That's
Okay,
what we
then
agreed to.
Then I have somebody else did that. I'm not sure.
I think it's got your
Is that the manager's contract, or is that the
No.
airport terminal office lease.
It's airport terminal office lease.
It's still got your annotations on the side.
Okay. Well, I'll have to see what.
Because we had a bunch of drafts back and forth.
All right. I'll see what we have, and we'll get it over there and get it signed. But
So what is the term on that contract?
The term on this is 20 years with a 10-year extension,
With an option to
an
extend,
option.
to renew.
how long ago were we working on this?
A year?
I think we started like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I just.
Well, that
Felt like it's been a long time.
It's about a year.
It's been a long time
COVID-
since I looked at it.
COVID really knocked us back.
Speaking of which, I've asked Bianca for the airport manager's contract. Did we ever get that executed?
Yes, we
okay,
did.
We do have that. Okay. Good.
All right, well,
It's up to the council.
20, what is standard that we've run into? Has it been 25 or 20, or how many years this has been term?
He's
term?
asking for 20. He's agreed.
You're
to
asking,
20.
he's agreeing for 20.
Yeah.
But usually I heard, well, in the previous meetings that
No,
we've had,
there was an original airport lease for 20 and 20. And then we came back and did a hangar lease for space that has not been executed, or it's been executed, but it hasn't been built. That was 25 and 15.
correct.
It's a 25-year term with a 15
Option.
option to renew, and that is based on the amount of money that is gonna be invested in doing the hangar, which we believe is about $1 million, so that it gives him an opportunity to be able to recover his cost.
Correct. Councilman, any questions on the term?
And
I think the term is set to be the right amount of term, 20 years.
I did want to make one comment. The fact that you're leasing it to an entity and not ET directly and Mrs. Page means that it'll be continuous. So whoever owns the company, if ET retires,
It'll keep going.
the shareholders will be able to continue. So you have the perpetual existence, which is what you get.
It's exactly the same as the lease we just did.
And remember that we jointly own the terminal, so it has to
County
go
has to
before
approve.
the county as well. So whatever you do here then needs to be presented to the county.
To the council. Councilman, any questions on the term? If not, I seek a first motion to approve the term. Or item number 10. First motion is made by Mr. Rodriguez. I need a second. Second by Mr. Zertuche. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Mr. Page, thank you. Moving on to item number 11, discussion and possible action to approve a grant agreed between the Texas Department of Transportation and the City of Cotulla for a route airport maintenance program. Routine
It's called
airport maintenance routine.
It's called a ramp program, and it allows for the city to be reimbursed for routine maintenance that occurs at the airport. And so the grant is for $50,000. We need to sign the grant and submit it. Once it gets approved, then during the course of the year, as we keep track of the maintenance items that we do, we send it up to them and we get reimbursed for that amount of money from them. But we need to agree to it and we need to pass it and then submit it.
Councilman, any questions on that? If not, I seek a first motion to approve item number 11. First motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Zertuche. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 12, discussion and possible action to propose to CISD the construction of a sidewalk on Medina Street to tie in with the existing sidewalk on Baylor Avenue.
The brand new school, elementary school, built the sidewalk. Apparently there are some walkers that still go to school in the mornings. There is a portion of sidewalk missing all the way to Medina Street. And because it's on a slope, it's going to require some backfill and some structural work. I'm looking for proposals. I want to say the project will come before council and we will bring it to you, but I just want to let you know that we do need to do this in order to facilitate the children walking to school. And I just want to get your concurrence that we're moving forward. And we have some contractors that are doing work on Pool Street and on other projects around town. And we're going to be asking them for a proposal to do that work.
This will also beautify the area as well.
I assume that the project will probably not exceed $25,000.
Did the school approach the city on this? Or
Yeah,
this?
they did.
Okay.
I had a discussion with the superintendent.
So it'll beautify the area and provide a safe passage for our kids. So I need a first motion to approve item number 12.
I have a question,
by
I have a
Mr.
question, sir,
Okay.
on that. Can we also order signs for
We
the traveling
have.
public because it's
The speed?
indicating that there is.
We have ordered signs for speed limits, for cell phone use,
School
and for
zone?
school zones, and we're in the process of getting that work done.
Is that going to be installed on Baker only or Medina also?
We will probably install it on the main courses leading up to the school. Medina itself has some natural barriers. It's got 2 dips that kind of prevents cars from going very fast there.
Correct.
But we did put some speed limit signs, and I think we ordered some additional ones further up toward 468.
Will it also require like paving the street, like for the kids to walk? You know what I'm saying? Pedestrian walking?
You mean a crosswalk?
Yes, sir.
If we put the sidewalk on the school side, they should be walking on that side, and there won't be a crosswalk. I don't know what the habits are of the people that are dropping off children. I assume they're all going into that school, but if there's some that go into that vacant property next door, then they would drop off people there. But I think the school district is discouraging that. But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll adapt.
Yeah, correct.
We'll do what's necessary.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're probably talking about people walking towards
Correct.
Medina and crossing Medina and going
Correct,
to
correct.
the sidewalk to the school.
We'll actually put crosswalks on Medina.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's very neat.
Yeah.
I know that Main Street is totally different because Main Street, the people come out in the mornings by dropping off their kids, and I know cops are there and all that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know that there's no signs for schools.
Yeah,
anything like that.
it's all meant for vehicular traffic, not for
Correct.
pedestrian traffic.
Correct.
The pedestrian traffic is on Baylor.
Correct.
I'm glad to see some kids are still walking to school. So that's do they have crossing guards at all? Has the school ever used them? They don't.
No, the mayor was telling me that they have teachers out there meeting the buses and escorting them
So
off
they
the
pull in
buses.
where we pulled in for the grand opening, and they go around the back and drop them off.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the drop off is.
That's what the drop off is.
And you got 2 lanes, one for the younger kids and one for the other
But
one
I
for
don't
the
know.
older kids.
Well, the mayor and I always walk to school, so.
I did a lot of walking. Anyways, any other questions on item number 12? If not, I seek a first motion to approve item number 12. First motion by Mr. Sertuche, I need a second. Second by Mr. Hondo Garcia. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 13, discussion with possible action to enter into a non-financial agreement with Texas Workforce Solution Middle Rio Grande to help establish work experience for available bodied adults without dependents who receive SNAP benefits. This is a program that Ms. Dolly from the Workforce Solution asked us if we could allow them to send some of their people. They would be paying their workers. I believe it. I don't know if you look in your packet, you might have a copy as to the amount of hours that they want them to work and that they're willing to pay. Now, if the worker seems worthy enough and we want to keep them now, it would be up to us.
It would be, we want to make sure that people understand that we do want to interview whoever they're going to recommend, and we have the right to approve or reject whoever they send. Some people may not be appropriate, and we need to preserve that right.
And these for individuals that are the age of 18 and above, or
Yes,
17.
or 16 and above. Or
16 and above.
They're people that receive they're involved
SNAP
in
benefits.
the SNAP program.
Is this a voluntary program for these
No.
individuals? They are required to do it. Okay. I've never seen the agreement, so I'd
Yeah,
like to take
it's
a
right
look
there.
at it.
This is a first. We used to have a
We
summer
have it.
program
Right,
for.
I know, but I haven't gone through it.
We used to have a summer program for 16-year-olds, but this is something else.
I think
No,
it
this-
says
this-
here.
Or something similar.
This is not the same.
It says 14
No,
to
it's not.
17.
So they pay people to come do work for the city, whatever that work might be.
Correct.
And the object is they'll get some training. Maybe if the city has a job, they'll give them the job.
Correct. If we see them worthy enough that they show up on time and providing that they're good workers, it'll be our decision.
It's a program that is, in simple terms, a make-to-work program. If you want to get the benefits, you agree to work.
I know, for example, the city has certain requirements, background checks, drug checks.
Correct.
We do all that. That's why I said.
And that's why we want to reserve those rights, that we make